Okay, there we go. Let's see. Welcome to MS Live. I'm your host, Dulci Hill, and I'm just setting this up a little bit. So let me share this to a couple groups. There, 1, 2, 3. All right, YouTube, if you can just bear with me while I share this to a bunch of different groups on Facebook. Private. I'm almost done. Okay, somebody was not real happy with me last time and had a problem and reported me to flagged me on YouTube. And I'll let you know that it hurt everybody else. Wasn't a big deal. I'm sorry, you guys have to look at my hand. There. Let's see. There's only one more that. Okay. All right. There. Okay. Hi, Jimmy. All right. Let's see. Do we have people here on YouTube? So people are picking up. Welcome to MS Live. I'm your host, Dulci Hill. If you go to YouTube and Google Dulci Hill and subscribe to my channel, hi Karen, you can participate in the chat. Okay, I have a bad connection today, so it's gonna fade in and out. I don't know why this connection's so bad, but anyway, it normally works. But I'm going to talk a lot today about common MS symptoms. So people with MS, they're in this chat over here. Just chime in, and if you're watching on Facebook, chime in if that's a common symptom you have and what you do to combat it. And there's a lot of unusual symptoms. Excuse me, I got an itchy nose there, but there's a lot of symptoms that are obscure when you have MS there, and we're going to be addressing a little bit of that right now. Part of the common stuff that anybody who doesn't have MS and you see somebody with MS, good morning, Jim, welcome. Anyway, the common is that you see is that people with MS tend to have balance problems. A lot of us have balance problems with bladder problems, spasticity, stiff, we have foot drop. There is tremors. Hi, Marcia. Facebook, I got a weak signal on Facebook, so forgive me. I'm really glad that this is working out well on YouTube. So if this is not working out on Facebook and you want to participate, that is Jimmy. Jimmy, I think that is your username there, and I think it's Jimmy. I have it written down there. So reconnecting on Facebook, reconnecting. So we're talking about common MS symptoms there. So so just chime in if any of these are your symptoms there. I remember one time having swallowing difficulties when I drank water, when I drank that, or doing a lot of choking there. And that was a new, hi, Tim. Hi. All right. All right. And Karen's just talking about a new symptom she had. And it feels like she's walking on hot rocks. and the right side. And that's your new symptom? Karen, I don't quite understand because you've had MS for a long time. So, are you having a new attack? Karen, that's concerning. Good morning, Michael. How are you? Yeah, we've got Michael on Facebook there. So, that's concerning. So, if you're on YouTube, chime in and answer Karen's question, or you're certainly able to address that. Now, one thing I will say, disclaimer time there. I am not a neurologist, nor is anybody here. We are not medical experts. Anything you hear here is meant to be used, written down, and use it to go to your doctor, because we do not know each other's medical medicines were on our medical history, so we have to be very, very careful giving advice to other people that could possibly kill them. So we don't want to do that. In fact, I want to talk a little bit about the MS Association. It's a wonderful, wonderful program. In fact, I believe they have a presence on Facebook there, and but they have a presence on Facebook, and one of the things that they talk about is what are they? All right, cog fog. That's a symptom where you lose your ability. Hi, Diana. There, I remember. They talk about medications there, medications that are typically used, and I'm thinking, and I was reading Nivantrone, which is never prescribed, very, very rarely prescribed due to serious health risk. And I know a number of you have been on Nivantrone in the past, as I have too there. But that's how they used to treat secondary chronic progressive MS there, which is not a common. If we're on these disease-modifying medications, it's not common. Now, after 10 years, less and less people are moving into that second stage of relapsing remitting. Hi, Kim. Welcome. Yes, Kim, it's what makes this great. In fact, Kim over here on YouTube is talking a little, and she's thanking everyone for being there and how helpful it is. And what makes this helpful is that you guys know I'm not the expert. I'm just one of you, and I happen to have the disease for long, almost. I'm one of the long timers. Somebody who's had the disease for such a long time. They say experience is I've had too much experience with this. I can pass along all my experiences. But each one of you, hi Tim, each one of you support each other with your own experiences. And I'm thinking, if we take all the years we've had with MS and everybody here and put it all together there, what do we have? Probably, and I have the records here, I think we have 2,000 years of experience dealing with MS there. That's a lot. So, and that's expert experience. And so, Ranger's saying hello. Anyway, good morning. That's what he's saying. But yeah, Karen's headed for 16. And hi, Phil. This is on my regular Facebook page. If you know anybody with MS, or if you've ever wanted to know about MS, there, you can continue watching. And I know. Normally put the dogs in the house, but you got to get cooperation from the entire family there. Also, I need to call the police department because we just had a police helicopter do circles around the house, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, it's like Vietnam. It's airdrop there. Diane, you've had MS for 28 years. So we're in the same we're in similar graduating classes. So when were you diagnosed, Diana? Uh, uh, Again, we're talking about people who've had MS a long time. Has anybody experienced problems swallowing? Hi, Diana, or Diane. Diane, she's uh, that dogs are fine until they interrupt a show, right? As long as you're not distracted. You'll see me like what is it? I don't know. I don't know. I have a conversation in my head, and I wish I could reveal it to you. So, all right, well, back to one of the troubling symptoms I had over the past 35 years is I ran into this point where I couldn't swallow without choking there, and it's a rare symptom, but it happens to a lot of us, and it when that happens, 90 fun, Diana, you were diagnosed. That was my first symptom. Was in not first symptom. My optic neuritis was in 1990, but I had paresthesia in the 80s, and I think I went mental, which I'll tell you. Tim, you can attest to me being a little mental in high school there, and they attribute that to MS symptom there. Probably was puberty, but I was a hell kitten. I was a big girl. But anyway, I wasn't bad. I just was I was hyper. I was a Ritalin kid before. I was a Ritalin kid before Ritalin was around. No. All right. So what do we do when we have problems swallowing liquids? There's different thickening agents that you can add to your water. That makes it. You'll notice that if you drink thicker stuff, you don't choke as much. Also, they have found that drinking with the straw, you end up getting time for your tongue to catch that water so it doesn't go down your windpipe. So that's another thing. Diana, have you ever had problems swallowing there? Chime in. And forgive on Facebook. I don't know why I have satellite, so this it shouldn't be chiming in and out there. Another symptom that is that the anxiety. This is the mental side of that, mental attacks there. Anxiety. I think it's true with anybody who you don't know if your leg's going to give out, and when you're walking, that can cause anxiety. And Diana, you'll be able to. Diana is all right. You'll be able to tell that when you first get diagnosed, or when you first have the symptoms of MS, there that things seem so much more anxious. Everything is, you have your neurologist on auto dial. You go to the emergency room. You panic with that stuff. And after you've had it for a long time, you don't worry about that. So you're like, and the doctor's like, oh, the neurologist says you need to come in every 6 months, and you're like, but I've had it so long. Can't I just come in once every 2 years? And so I don't know if any of you were like me there, where they harass me. I get phone calls and they're like, it's done, you come on in, Dulce. So I have to. I don't like going to the doctor because we're always falling. I break my hand, I break a rib, I slam a thumb in the door. I do all these things and I have to go to the doctor because of that stuff. I don't want to go to the neurologist just to have them look over and say, yeah, okay, this is how's your medicine working? I'll let you know if my medicine's not working. But early on, MS is a very anxiety-driven disease. Also, the depression is very common with MS, and yeah, it's common. Guess what? With anybody with a chronic illness, after and it happens, you end up getting depressed because if you get up and the first thing you think is, "Good God, it's morning." It's like, "Good God, it's morning," instead of good God, it's morning. It's depressing when you think, oh, is this as good as it gets? It's very easy, or it could be worse. We're talking somebody's they're over on here. They're talking about losing their dogs there. That is, I'm sorry about that. Exactly. Diane on Facebook's talking about you. You've had it for a long time too, Diana. Uh, uh, if you're like, give us a break, and they want to get a MRI. It's like, it's. Do you know the co-pays of MRIs? And they're like, oh, just go get it. It's like oh, if you were at McDonald's, pick me up a diet soda. Forget it. Forget it. It's. I like to stretch it out. So stretch it out. Yeah, mornings. Diana's talking about mornings are getting hard. Hi, Daniel. You're with us. Yeah, you know what? In the morning there. So we're talking about depression, and you got to be careful to know the situational depression. I have a video, situational depression versus depression caused by, situational depression or clinical depression. Clinical depression tends to be a chemical imbalance, and that's also common with MS. That's when you wake up and you're looking around and you were happy the day before, and today you're thinking, you know what? I couldn't feel worse about life if I watched everybody get murdered. Right now with guns, it just I couldn't feel more removed. And that is a real problem with MS. At some point, when you realize that there's nothing that is going on in your life that makes you unhappy, that it's new. This is, and especially MS, is very much like a frog. Is Jane here? Did Jane? Jane, good. Jane, I love you. Here from Coeur d'Alene. Jane from Coeur d'Alene. It rhymes there. But I'm thinking that it comes a point where we can easily tell these doctors, all right, I need chemical help because this is not rational. If you're a rational person, you've got to think about that. Also, I've discovered there's somebody who's going to be joining us today who's new there and joining us on YouTube. And that's going to be important because this person had emailed me that it's hard getting out of bed. And I thought, gosh, I can relate. How many people actually lay in bed and are in a haze in the morning, and you think, oh my gosh, how in the world am I going to get through today? It's just like you said, just like you said, Daniel. It's waking. When you wake up in the morning, it's like, oh, what are the challenges? How hard? It's almost like being an athlete there. So you get out of bed, and I'll tell you the best thing to do. Hi, Susan. Another hill there. So we hills, right? Those hills. There's some those hill people got around because I married one, and that's all right. So you're laying in bed and you're thinking, and you're in this haze, and I started thinking when I was responding to that person, the only time you don't need medication, you don't think about restless leg syndrome, spasticity, paresthesia doesn't bother you, pins and needles don't bother us. And the only time we're not depressed, we're doing well, is when we're together, right? Right? It's when we're supporting each other. We're outside of ourselves. We're thinking about each other's pains there, and I got to pray for you guys, and I love that. So it just it's huge there, and now I'm looking at that, and I see uh, some of you guys miss a week, and then you jump back in there, and then there's some that I just know that they've got that haze, and they're sound asleep. Like where's Jesus? Anyway, there's a couple that jumped from Facebook over to YouTube there, so I've yet to see that happen, but that will happen. All right, so we talk about depression. What do we do for depression? Situational depression is when we're laying in bed and we're like, this situation sucks. Getting out of bed, well, the effort sucks, right? And what can we do? There's aids. There's physical mobility aids that we're supposed to make the most of. We're supposed to get out and use that to get to where we need to be in order to do what is meaningful. Kind of like I talked to a gentleman, didn't have MS. I was at the pool yesterday, and he was talking about how he used to love to cook, and it's hard to lean up with he uses crutches there, and so it's hard to lean up against the kitchen counter and do chopping. I I use my walker. Sometimes my legs just give up there. All right. Absolutely. Gina, you snuck in. Gina, hi. I was thinking about you. Uh, uh, Last night I was thinking about you specifically. I don't know why you're on my heart there, but you know what? That's probably why. Gina says that, yeah, recognizing the symptom of depression and just having a bad day. Yeah, bad days we do early on when you have MS. Is we often like to say, "Oh, I'm having a bad day, and good days there." But the longer you have MS, I like to say I don't have good days and bad days. I have bad days with great moments there. Actually, I had a great day yesterday, and it was the right medication I took there. And sometimes I don't take any medication. And you know what, Jane, I got to tell you that God and medication got me out of my slump, because many of you have seen my depression video about the difference between clinical and situational depression, and being suicidal and needing end. Calling your doctor and saying, all right, look, this is my timetable there you have, and that's what happened to me. I called up my neurologist and my regular, hi Myra, my regular doctor, general practitioner, and I told both of them, look, you have got until you've got I gave him a date. It was, I believe it was 3 months there. At this date, I'm going to take my life because I cannot live in the amount of pain there. But I was very open. I let everybody know. I let my husband know. I let everybody, my friends, my family. there, and I let the doctors know, and they were on it there. And I got to tell you, being honest and recognizing clinical depression and recognizing that there was no solution to that, they gave me enough antidepressants there that I think all of Bel Air, Maryland could be, if it was put in the water supply, everybody would be as in a good mood. But it's pretty funny. Oh, you know what? We're talking about urinary thing. Oxybutylin. Let's see. Diana. All right. Diana is talking about the symptom of having weak legs. And I get that occasionally, and you'll know this when you have MS because you'll go into a restaurant and you're standing there with your cane just to give you a little support, and all of a sudden you got to sit. You got to sit on the floor. You got to sit, find a place to sit because your legs are just about giving out. They've had, well, that's why rollators are so great. Rollators are walkers with seats, and you can sit and sit on them when you get tired. You can sit on them in the kitchen, and sometimes we have that. The best thing, Diana, is I have on my exercise playlist is working on doing squats, and uh, that forces strength into those legs there, and it doesn't seem like it's doing a good job there. But it really is. The results are they're so much stronger and you can stand longer. Again, depending on how warm you are, how tired you are. If you have, here's another big thing: if you have a urinary tract infection, nothing seems to work there. So we have different things that yeah. Anyway, yeah, we have different reasons why our legs get weak. Sometimes it's the spasticity, and we don't work them. So but you guys know, as I know, there is after a while, if you don't continue to fake it till you make it, you don't want to do any of it. You just give up there, and that's the biggest problem with MS. There, it those of you who don't have MS and are watching on Facebook, I'll tell you, having this disease is harder than getting up every morning and going for a run or going to the gym. Every day is like getting out is uh, Olympic training. It is it's difficult. Now on YouTube, we're talking about medications that work for bladder incontinence there, and Botox is very effective there. Somebody's on Botox. They're Ditropan, Detrol, and Vesicare. And those three medications actually, what you may or may not know is that your body gets used to taking these medication. After a while, you'll be on Vesicare for a number of years and it'll stop working. And at that point, then you go back to Detrol and you'll see if that works, and which is better. I think I'm on Ditropan, the generic portion of that, and I prefer Detrol or Ditropan because the generic forms of that cheap as dirt. We can afford to be on them, but you start getting Vesicare. Vesicare is really expensive, uh, uh, and yet the other side of it, there are people with MS that can't go to the bathroom and have to use a catheter in order to drain their bladder there, and it's self-cath. And what's scary about self-catheterization is that uh, your chances of getting a bladder infection or a urinary tract infection is higher, because when you're pushing a tube into your body, there that tube, the end of the tube that goes in your body, can pick up germs there and cause problems there. Now the worst is when you have urinary incontinence combined with hesitant, where all of a sudden you're like gotta go, and the only way you'll go is if you're in public and everybody's watching, because if you make it into the bathroom there, then all of a sudden you can't go. You now all of a sudden you're where you're supposed to perform, and that doesn't work. That's the worst combination. And what they attribute that a lot of times is you will take your medication, ditropan, Detrol, or Vesicare, or desmopressin, desmopressin shuts off your bladder for 4 to 8 hours. It's good for getting you through the night there. If you take any of these medications, that promotes the shutting down of your bladder. So if you are prone to hesitancy, that can aid in that. But again, everybody with MS should have a MS urologist for neurobladder or neurogenic bladder. There, all right, we're talking about spasticity, and it's so funny. Tim, I was thinking that my left leg, I only turn, I never turn to the left. I don't walk around. I can only turn to the right. And I think that if I'm in bed, if I turn over, I can't turn over to the right. I go under. Yeah, I think maybe that's the way, but I can't go one direction there, and because it's like I have a tree trunk I've got to climb over. So that's another symptom there. Let's see. Here's one that I didn't even really know. It's called PBA. And what that is that's a sudden uncontrollable expression of laughter or crying without apparent trigger there. Just you'll be sitting there. Say it's inappropriate. Well, it can be. Say you're at a funeral and you start laughing like crazy, or you start crying and everybody's happy. This is something that can happen when you have MS. There, I've never seen it. It's never happened to me. Has that emotional thing ever happened to you? When I was a kid, I'm thinking, yeah, that never happened to me. But it's called BPA, and I'd like to pseudobulbar, and that's what that is called there. It's suitable or whatever. You get me. Yes. All right. Jimmy says he talks about. Oh, Daniel talks about he has that, and his wife hates it. Yeah, I imagine she's telling you a serious story, and you start laughing at her. Yeah, I can imagine that it just, or you start crying when, yeah. I bet your wife can handle the crying a lot better than laughing. So we're talking about having inappropriate emotions for no reason. I was thinking, hi Richard, hi Dee. Oh my gosh, Dee, you're back. I haven't seen you in a long time. So I was thinking, I was in a car accident. I ended up on a fender bender, and I swung my car around, and I bumped the woman sitting in a car, and she got out, and she was so mad at me. And the angrier she was, the more and I don't know whether this is because I had that bad symptom or whether because I'm a jerk, but the angrier she got at me, the more I laughed. It just yeah, it is. And Jimmy's talking about the definition of having this BP or PBA is when emotions are reversed. Pseudo Duboblier or Bulbar. All right, and that makes sense. That absolutely makes sense there, because this I don't know what it is. I think it's not appropriate. The angrier this woman, and she was yelling, screaming at me, and I walked into physical therapy. They were looking out the window, and I'm laughing, and they said, "What happened?" I said, "I bumped, no damage." I said, "Listen, I'll pay for anything. Here's my information," and I took pictures. No damage to the car. She was fine there. I felt. Hi, Sarah. I felt so bad. Uh, no. I gotta say, I didn't feel bad, but I, I couldn't express the amount of glee I had in my heart. The angrier she got, the funnier. And I tend to get that way. And that's the only inappropriate thing. When people get really upset, I tend to think, and it's inappropriate. I tend to think this is stupid. Nothing is worth. And I think it's because we, with this difficult disease, uh, uh, our priorities are all mixed up. So when people are getting mad at us for something that is so inappropriate, it's so unimportant to us because shoot, we got out of bed, we succeeded, and you're mad at me because I got a look on my face. It's like I've got to lead with the idea that everything that comes out of my mouth is going to be hypocritical. It is, that's why I need Jesus Christ because, I'm the biggest sinner. I'm the biggest sinner. But yeah, it's funny, Gina. Yeah, and Gina, it's like Hawkeye Pierce. You just nailed it there. A lot of times we develop the ability to laugh like crazy at all these situations because we don't want to cry. I mean, some of these things that we laugh at uh, are definitely things that we could cry about, but because we have to live in that situation, we don't. And because crying is so inappropriate that now we just laugh. My big thing is I don't like talking about how I'm feeling. So people come up to me all the time and say, "How are you feeling?" And it's like, ugh. Yesterday I was at the pool and a bunch of my friends, "How you feeling? How you feeling?" I said, "How you feeling?" how are you feeling? And these people have known me long enough and seen me, and they're so grateful. Hey, I got something funny to tell you. I had dry skin on my back after I got out of the pool, and with really dry skin, from chlorine and stuff, I itched. On the back, I started, and I've got really sharp nails. I started bleeding like a stuffed pig, and I created a little bit of a scene. But these people at the pool take such good care. Remember when I broke my leg, or some of you remember that there. They were squelching the blood, and there, and apparently it was just a scratch there. So I'm bringing cream, lots of cream there for moisturizing there. It's not appropriate in the 2020 to bleed in public. say sneezing. In fact, I saw a joke that you guys would, and it just cracked me up. And it said I used to cough to hide a fart, right? Cough to hide a fart. Now I have to fart to hide a cough. That was somebody sent me that joke. I thought that was hilarious. That's because it's anyway. It's all right. Let me read some of what you're saying. It's funny. All right. Let's see. Let's see. They ask how I'm doing. This is what Jimmy says. Uh, and Jimmy's response is, I wish I was better, and I'm glad I'm not worse. There. And Jane likes that response. My favorite thing is that, and I was taught early on, is that when people ask you how you're doing, a good thing to respond is, I am unbelievable, right? What does unbelievable say? You could be unbelievably good or unbelievably bad, but you've made a statement. I am unbelievable. And I've discovered that people really don't want to know how you're doing. Most people, they don't. They want to talk about themselves. So, and the longer you have the disease and stuff, the more you want to hear how other people are doing their issues. Because, it's, if not, we'd stay home and stay in our head. But practice that. How are you doing? Everybody with MS, how are you doing? I am unbelievable. I'm unbelievable. You wouldn't believe how I'm doing. And it's hilarious. It's hilarious. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's pretty good because, again, also we know also uh, they don't really want to know. I mean, could you imagine if somebody says, "How are you doing?" and you're like, "Well, actually, since I crapped on the floor this morning and I can't feel my feet, so I tripped and the phone rang and my mom was on the phone and I couldn't get to the phone and she was yelling and then I couldn't feed the dogs there because they got my way, and I didn't make dinner last 3 nights because I was too tired because I've been using energy in the bed. And people don't want to know that. They just don't want. I don't want to know that. I mean, if somebody with MS came up, I mean, honestly, we're here right now. We're supporting each other. But after we're done with this MS stuff and we're sharing with one another, let's go about our day and let's not mention MS again. Let's not mention it to our family and our friends and let's not live. I'll go to the pool and I'll swim my laps today and I'll talk to a lot of people and they'll what we have been taught, those of you who are Christians, and even if you're not, what we have been taught is to find beauty in everybody. And if God works miraculously through each person, it's a helicopter. That's a police helicopter, and I think I'm hidden nice underneath this roof there. But anyway, uh, it's true. It's true. Let's go and let's only lean on each other for support. We'll agree. We'll only talk MS. Let's only talk on Tuesdays and Thursdays. MS. My husband said this morning. He looked at me and he says, "How'd you sleep?" And I said, "I don't remember." I mean, sometimes it hurts on one side, and it's like, really, do I want to talk about my back being cold because the blanket's out there? Can't we all just dive in and tell people exactly what we're thinking there? So I'm coming. Oh, Daniel, you're gonna go take a nap? Yeah, and Gina's talking about letting her laughter be an inspiration. And again, when you hear people, I mean, how about everybody coming up to you, and I know this happens, you're walking with a rollator, you're walking, and they come up to you, and they're like, what'd you do to your knee? I had knee surgery. I had my hip operated on, and oh, you'll get better, and it's like, yeah, no, this is permanent. You know what? Sarah on Facebook, she's feeling it. You're feeling the MS, but you know what? It is. Before when we were first diagnosed with MS, we're like, all right, let's go back to playing softball. Let's go back to our buddies and stuff. We have no idea we're gonna lose our friends, a lot of our friends, people we grow up with, all of a sudden are going to look at us strange. Family members aren't going to know how to deal with us. There, uh, it yeah, it's true. We need so I think about this. Let me see what. Okay, I think about the problems we have, and I think, yeah, the MS does change our lives, and there's two ways to look at it, Sarah. Two ways to look at it. Yeah, it can be. And Sarah says MS is doggy doo doo. All right, she used colorful words there, and there's two ways to look at it. We can think about how miserable. In the morning you can do a list of things that you can curse, or you can do gratitude lists. Here, Heavenly Father, thank you. All right, I can't feel my left leg, but at least it's there for symmetry, right? So I look balanced there. Although my left calf is it shrunk. It is so much smaller than my right. There, it just uh, doesn't matter there. Thank you for my left leg there. I mean, here's something good for you. Bell's palsy there, and I see this. I have a pastor at one of the churches I watch on Sunday. Then he's you could tell he had a bout of Bell's palsy there, and remember, oh gosh, what is her name? Uh, um, Helen whatever. Anyway, on the left side of her face there, uh, she was. Thank you, Karen. She gave me a time check there. Uh, the, no longer am I symmetrical. And I look when I used to do the promotional modeling, and I did this there. My smiles were symmetrical. Everything about me was symmetrical. No longer, since that Bell's palsy, and this side was frozen there, and I'd only smile. I look, and I can see so much. Half of me is permanently, just is off there. And there's certain people in the Hollywood industry. There's certain people that I don't think look bad because they are great. Now Sarah is talking about swimming today and forgetting and carrying on. Sarah, that thrills me. That thrills me. Who else has taken to the water? Sarah, do you do water aerobics or what? Or do you do laps there? And remember, I was talking about doing laps. Everybody with MS can do laps. If you use a snorkel, you want to use the snorkel, not the one that goes on your side, the one that goes in the front, and because that removes the ability to be dizzy. I get really dizzy there. All right, let me just see there. Okay, I see. I keep clicking off on Facebook. I don't know why. So forgive me. Forgive me for being a hack. But you guys know I'm not a professional. Uh, uh, and Diana, All right, now how do you do labs? Do you use, and same thing with Sarah. She's talking about on Facebook about doing labs too. How do you do them? Do you do the freestyle, or do you do breaststroke? I can't do breaststroke because I can't get those legs to do a whip kick, a frog kick there. And I don't know whether I dreamed I could do a butterfly stroke, or I actually can do a butterfly stroke now. I think I'll try it there. Um, and Daniel, to battle atrophy, on any kind of atrophy on the legs and stuff, you gotta lift weights. Yeah, you have to do things to lift weights there. Uh, uh, Pamo's talking about wanting to swim, but because of this COVID stuff, she'd have to break the law to go swimming. Crazy, crazy. We all go and we sit by the pool, and we're like 12 feet apart there, so we're not wearing a mask and all. So this COVID thing is not a big deal. Plus, the chlorine supposedly kills it, or that kind of stuff. Oh, you guys are so sweet. Oh, you know what? I'm humbled, Jimmy. I'm absolutely. I'm humble. I love you guys so much. Again, please, Jimmy. You say Jimmy just mentioned. Can someone make a Zoom meeting of fans of Dulci? And I got to tell you that uh, I'm nothing. I'm you. I'm one of you there. And Jimmy, you're every bit as awesome. And you'd be holding this if you could. I just have a lot of guts there. So don't ever thank me. Thank God, because God's bringing us all together. Again, you click this, and when you recognize. In fact, I think Karen had mentioned. No, Jane sent me a thank you letter in the mail. She found my address there, and it was so awesome because she thanked me for putting this together so that we all could help each other. Again, it's so critical. You do not give me more credit than I'm worth. I'm not worth. It's a platform, and it's the only thing I'm good at there. I failed at everything there, but I succeed at dealing with MS there. At laughing like Hawkeye Pierce on MASH at the craziness, the insanity on that. It's crazy. It's crazy. But anyway, Karen, I like that. Amen. Yes. So what we can do is, if anybody wants to put together anything, call it MS Live, all right, and invite me to be a part of it. But again, MS Live, that should be our buzzword. Dulci Hill. This happens to be. I did this on my channel there, but again. And I'm almost embarrassed again. It's you guys have been with me and have seen me work and provide stories and information and cutting edge stuff for like I believe it's been 10 years now. So some of you have known me for so long. And Sarah, thank you for saying that. But again, Sarah, you're worth a lot to me. Sarah, you've been a member of MS Frontiers, I believe, from almost the very beginning when I first started that. And I did start this YouTube channel before MS Frontiers there, and msfrontiers.org is a resource for people with MS to get your answers in a quick area. It's not really. Eli. Yeah, thank you, thank you. You know what? It's Eli. You're talking about my teeth. Eli says I got good teeth, but I'll tell you the reason why is because I wore orthodontic work from when I was 7 years old at a pallet spreader. I was the advertisement all the way up until I was 16. I just and my biggest fear. I remember ice skating as a kid on our lake. My biggest fear was losing my teeth because my mom would always say, "Wear your retainer. Take good care of your teeth." So my senior picture, actually, I think it was my junior picture. I'm actually wearing a retainer and my mom says, "Couldn't you take it off to get your picture taken?" And I was afraid. So yeah, I am. Use the microphone icon and talk your message. All right, Jane, what is, am I not coming across very well? Let me see there. All right. So hi, Tim. God bless you. This is ministry for people with MS there and to get the support there. Yeah, I am a nerd. You know what? I'm a nerd and I'm a tomboy. It's awful. So that was Jane. Uncle told me that's Jimmy. That's his name, Jimmy. So a lot of people on Facebook want to be involved. Sarah, if you can jump over to YouTube, and it's easy to get an account. You don't have to use your real name or address. You can just get a regular account. And then, Sarah, you're such a beautiful person. You can participate in the chat and talk about how other people with MS can deal with that. That is that. And you know what? You guys are so beautiful there. You see that, Jane? Jimmy was just defending you against me, saying, "Yeah, that's so sweet. That's so sweet." And yes, I know Jane's just trying to help you. Of course, Jane helps me, but you do too, Jimmy. There and Gina, you do too. We all. Karen, thank you for the time check there. And again, we got a lot of people. So Sarah, if you can jump over to YouTube, you can participate in the chat. The chat is a heck of a lot more active on YouTube. It's set up. The live chat is set up, and I'm just a talking head trying to read from everybody's posts there so that we all can interact and give comfort to each other. All right. Eli, Eli is new here, and he's talking a little bit about having MS and Parkinson's, and that's hard, Eli. That is hard. Which is giving you the biggest challenge right now? How long have you had MS, and how long have you had Parkinson's? What is your biggest obstacle that you can ask other people to help you overcome, to comfort you? I believe that God brought us all together to comfort each other in this, where we can go to our family and ask our family, and they don't get it, and that's okay. I know my husband, he didn't want to look at my MRI. He didn't want to see the results of that, and that's okay. That's okay, because if I'm going to have anybody look at my MRI, it's going to be my neurologist, or it's going to be you guys. I'll put my MRI up. Yeah, I'll do that, but and then we all can laugh like crazy and say that's a MRI. If we could have a contest. Who's got the most exciting brain, spine, and we'll have T-shirts. So whoever's got the busiest MRI and yet is the most active, what? Why don't we do that? Why don't we do that there? I'll have to set it up. I'll have to artwork. It is. Yeah, let's have a contest there. And all right. So Eli's talking about having MS since 2008 and Parkinson's since 2010. Yeah, the Ocrevus is an outstanding medication to keep your MS at bay. So that's good stuff there. Parkinson's, maybe somebody else knows a little bit more about Parkinson's than I do. I just don't know anything, but God must have really, really loved you, Eli, to entrust you with overcoming these two challenges, Parkinson's and MS there. I think, and I was told by a neurologist early on that only dynamic, charismatic, really interesting people get MS. And I was thinking, flattery. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe it makes you feel, that's his way of having bedside manner of saying, yeah, you know what? Yeah, you got a raw deal, but you know what? Yeah, good people. Only good people get MS. Yeah, if I was a doctor to a group of patients with a common disease, I'd use that too. Yeah, you get really good people. But no, he really believed that. He said you guys have something in common. So I've met enough people with MS there, out and about, and to tell you that I you guys come to me and you are all really, I agree, neat people, just neat people there. So all right, so Karen gave me my thank you, Karen. My time's up there. So go to msfrontiers.org and look at the resources we have for you. If you're here watching this MS Live and you haven't subscribe to this channel, you'll get an email Tuesdays and Thursdays from 11 to 12. We do this live support with each other, and we uplift each other there. Before I had, if there's any topic that you want me to talk about or any expert you'd like me to have on, let me know there. I can certainly figure out how to do it. Also, Dennis promised that he would teach me. I just need to call him. I need to call Dennis so that he can teach me how to do it. Anyway, I love you all. And again, if you don't have a YouTube account and you're on Facebook and you're watching that and you want to participate in the chat, do so. Anyway, I pray for all of you. May God comfort you. May touch each one of your lives. And I want to hear, may enable you to move this week and swim and just know that you're loved. God loves you, but we each love you, each one, and we love each other. Anyway, I love you. In Jesus' name, I pray and I give thanks. I give thanks for this ministry. Amen. Keep coming back. Hi, everyone. Welcome to MS Live. All right, for connection. All right, there we go. Let's see. Welcome to